My name is Alton Richardson, 22 years old. I'm an action sports photographer from Livermore, California. F-Stoppers is a video blog with all sorts of different videos from different photographers all around the world, showing their workflow and their behind the scenes of their video and photo shoots. Today we're going to show how I shoot studio quality images in my backyard. We're going to be shooting in the dark, so we don't have to worry about backdrops or anything like that because we have the natural backdrop of night. Here's the gear I'm going to be shooting with tonight. My main camera is Nikon D200. I'll be shooting with the 50-1.8. We're going to be using two Vivitar 285 HVs. These things will either be slaved or set up with a wireless receiver. We have wireless setup, which is the Gadget Infinity Cactus V2S triggers. We'll be shooting in the dark, so only two of the lights are going to have receivers and everything else is going to be slaved. Shouldn't be an issue. In here we have two White Lightning Ultra 1800s, the old school workhorse big light. They're going to be great. We're going to use that as our main lights and either as a fill light or a backlight. We'll see how that goes. We'll have those on the big burly Calumet stands right here. Big suckers, they go up about 16 feet or so. We also have one little 8-foot air cushion light stand as well. And that's kind of what we'll be using. Yeah. When doing lighting setups with multiple lights, it's really good to build your light one light at a time. Whether you're on location in the studio, shooting in a backyard like we are, it doesn't matter. It's good to build it one light at a time. A lot of people like to start with the main light. You have the main light coming in, you see what it's doing, and then you start adding accent lights, whether it's a side light or a rim light. I started backwards. I like to start with the least obvious light, whether it's a side light or a backlight. In this case, it's our backlight. It's also going to be lighting the chalk and that sort of thing. So I'm starting with the backlight and I'm dialing in my exposure for that rim light so I can have full control of that rim light. Then bring in the main light and fill everything else in that way, and then I have full control over my main light where I want it to go. And I like to build my light like that just because I find it a little bit easier. Here we are with Eric Sanchez, USA climbing team member. He just came back from Atlanta where he placed 3rd in the national climbing for difficulty, doing some sweet sport climbing hard as shit. We're going to be shooting a portrait of him because he's pretty badass and we want to shoot a badass portrait where we're going to have a bunch of chalk going off in the background. And we're in this sweet backyard where it's all dark, so we're going to make it look like we're shooting in a studio with kind of a black seamless, not going to be the seamless effect because we're shooting waist up, but we are shooting at night in a backyard, an open space, so it's going to look like we shot it in a giant studio that was all blacked out. It's going to be pretty cool, pretty psyched, and yeah, stay tuned. So this is a good one for all the DIYers. I have this Home Depot bracket right here, which I have fitted with a screw and a couple of nuts, and that screw is the same size as like a tripod size screw. I have this cool little ball joint right here. It's this little slick ball joint. The SBH120 comes in really handy for all these nice little flash setups. And what you can do is you can clip this little setup right here when you have the flash attached to this ball joint by a little hot shoe bracket. You can clip this to anything. You can clip it to railings, you can clip it to the ceiling, to trees, to wherever. It works great. I have it clipped on right here to the light stand and I can just move it wherever I want. I saw this on Strobist and I've been using it for a long time. I've even put my camera on it and was very worried, but it worked. So it's a good little setup that you can use. I don't see a lot of people actually doing this setup. I don't know why, but it is available and under $25. We have now switched the rim light to the White Lightning. Have a receiver on that. I'm going to be slaving the main light and hopefully I think it's going to start firing. So we're just going to start building the picture with that on, and I don't think it should be too much of an issue. I've also switched to my 50mm lens. We're just going to shoot this at 50mm and it should look good. This is a good sharp lens. Scoot to your left a little bit, Eric. There you go. Okay, cool, the backlight's looking pretty good. Knock this down, close your eyes. One of my friends, Mark IV Photography, he took a picture using, it wasn't chalk, but baking, no, not baking soda, but flour. He was using flour, and he does a lot of shoots in his backyard as well. He threw up flour, and it was really cool. and he just had a silhouetted person with all this flower backlit, and I thought, hey, well, you could add another light in there and fill in that person and have a beautiful portrait with all of this cool stuff going on in the background. It kind of translated perfectly because I had shot a picture in October of 2009 of Eric climbing in Yosemite. Coincidentally, he had just chalked up and then hopped on the boulder problem, and when we took the picture, all this chalk was illuminated in front of one of the lights that was behind a tree. So when I saw his picture, I immediately thought back to that picture and said, hey, I can do this very easily. I don't need to waste flour for cooking. I could just use chalk and waste that.
Yeah.
Hold it again with one hand. Yeah, that's a little bit more relaxing. Hold it out a little bit more though. But more towards me. You're holding it like at the light. Straight at me. Yeah, like that. And so you're going to go back to that after you do the chalk thing. So chalk it up. Alright, well, we got two different poses we like, a couple different shots, one of one pose and a few of the other pose. And I think in Photoshop we can alter some of well, not alter, but move some of the chalk from some of the good chalk from the good images and some of the other good poses that don't have good chalk. But I think that's a wrap. I only got a few pictures left on this card anyway, so I don't have another card on me right now. So I think that's a wrap. All right, cool. In Photoshop, I did the normal levels and color balance, things like that. You know, adjusted the contrast. I then had to take and kind of separate the subject from the background, and I turned the background completely black and white because we weren't fully stopped down, and I kind of didn't. I mean, I knew that there was going to be some background light because we're using the big light, so there's a lot of fall off, and I didn't, I guess, estimate how much fall off there would be because when we shot the original picture, we were just using speed lights, and so I had to turn the whole background black and white, and then I made it look like it wasn't desaturated completely in color balance and just kind of gave it some hues and tones, and made it look like it was still the color version, and it was very similar, but the bushes and stuff that were in the background from my backyard, you couldn't see those anymore. And then I took another image that had the chalk the way I wanted it in the same exact areas, and then used the clone stamp to put that chalk into the new picture, so that where there were bushes showing in the previous picture, it was now covered up by chalk. And there was very, very minor editing to the chalk, really. Just a little bit of clone stamp work, some dodging and burning, and blacking out most of the lights because I shot in the frame was my light stand and part of my umbrella, and I knew it was in a blacked out area, so it didn't matter. I could just get it out of there. Oh, dog poo. Oh no!
That sucks. That sucks. Alright, we should, yeah, nobody step on that.